everybody to complete our final agenda item today, the adoption of the annual report 2020-21 and summary annual report 2020-21. And we have now received our audit opinion, and I'd like to welcome our auditor, Karen Young from Audit New Zealand. Good to have you here today to answer any questions for us, Karen. And also we have Caroline here to talk to the paper. So I'll hand across to you, Caroline.
Thank you. So the purpose of this report is to present to you the annual report and the summary annual report for 2020-21. Under the Local Government Act, the annual report is required to be adopted prior to the 30th of October each year. However, last year, you will recall the government passed a COVID legislation bill to extend the deadline for adoption to the 31st of December 2020, and they've passed the same legislation again this year to extend the adoption dates out to the 31st of December 2021. For the year ended 30th of June 2021, Council's total revenue of $164 million was above budget by $42 million. This was mainly due to the significant uplift in investment property gains of $21.6 million and Three Waters reform funding received from the DIA of $7.2 million, and the tourism activities performing better than anticipated. The total expenditure of $136 million was above budget by $14 million due to higher depreciation from an uplift in asset values the previous year, November flooding costs and costs associated with the Parkland development, resulting in an overall operating surplus of $27.7 million and a balanced budget position for 2021. Audit are satisfied the financial statements fairly reflect Council's activities for the year and its financial position. The audit opinion for 2021 has been tabled this morning and includes an emphasis of matter and a qualification relating to three non-financial performance measures. The emphasis of matter paragraph draws the reader's attention to the potential impact of the Three Waters reform for Council, and the qualified opinion relates to three non-financial performance measures whereby audit were unable to determine that the reporting on these measures was materially correct. The performance measures impacted relate to the fault, complaints and response times recorded for water supply, wastewater and stormwater. As part of audit's testing, they identified a number of discrepancies relating to response times and recording of complaints, and have assessed the number of errors are above their threshold for materiality. The disclosures in the annual report and the summary report include Council's proposed remedial actions. I'm happy to take any questions, and I have Karen on hand to answer any technical questions.
Thank you, Caroline. Just with regards to the complaints with the Three Waters and the qualified opinion we've received on that, is that predominantly related to the flooding event, or does it actually extend beyond that?
It's a bit of both. The flooding event certainly added to that, but it's a measure that's very difficult to actually comply with, and a number of other councils around New Zealand are grappling with it as well, Hastings included. So there's work being done behind the scenes with the DIA to see if that performance measure can be modified going forward, but that work's still in progress.
Thank you. And so it was a new measure last year, wasn't it? And it has impacted on a number of councils around the country.
That's correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Brosnan.
Thank you, Carolyn. I had a question about that particular measure as well. Understanding it's new and that you mentioned you're working with DIA to understand if that measure can be amended. If it's not amended, are we confident we'll be able to meet that reporting measure in future?
No, not confident. It's quite difficult to meet. There's always a margin of error with the way the complaints are categorised. So if somebody, for example, rings in with a dog complaint, a water complaint, a rubbish complaint, it's up to the person receiving that complaint to categorise it, and if it's not categorised into the correct category, then there's a possibility of an error in the recording.
So Could I just understand that, I suppose, in a little bit more detail? Is the main reason for our non-conformance here that we are not categorising complaints correctly? And if so, couldn't there be a double check process or something internally put in place to make sure we catch any discrepancies?
Yes, we can. It's quite intensive to go back and check through all of the complaints recordings that are coming in. We do that from time to time, but it is quite a laborious process.
And the first part of that question was, is our main reason for non-conformance the miscategorisation of complaints?
Yes, it is for the complaints category, yes.
Through you, Madam Mayor, sorry to speak over you, but just in relation to the Deputy Mayor's question. So, yeah, I think there is some learnings in here for us. The first time that we've tried to make these measures, we've obviously fallen short, and there's some learnings for us. We have, as councillors will know, changed our complaints process this year to really improve our metrics and our ability to respond, and I think it is a really logical step to be looking at the systems answer for how we can get better compliance going forward, notwithstanding the fact that it is a difficult measure to meet. We'll also rely on the learnings from the other councils who have received this audit opinion as well, and see where we can find some synergies. Thank you.
And sorry, just a follow-on question, and then I'll come to you, Councillor McGrath. So is there only the ability to put a complaint into one category? Can you not?
Multi.
If there's if one complaint contains 2 or 3 separate items, could you categorise it into the 3 separate areas? Right. Yeah.
So there is a bit of a challenge with our system in terms of how easily that can be done, and so with people who are using, busy operator error, whatever, it needs to be more simplistic. It also is difficult to send to multiple people for resolution, so another reason that we can look at that. I think the Director of Corporate Services was grabbing the mic there, so I might just pass over to Adele for some further context on that.
And through the Mayor, and I just want to reiterate what Steph has basically said, that it is that categorisation. When you do have events like floods and people calling in, they will be calling in with not just one reason, so then it requires a multi-aspect type approach. And Karen can possibly talk to this as well, but actually having someone who's dealing under pressure and actually working through all those various categories, we are working through the issues that they address at the time, but it's the wrap up and the reconsideration of how it all came to be. That's where we do find the errors, and why this year we became materially different to the requirements of audit to get past this particular measure, noting that we did have that flooding event. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen, did you want to add any further comments to that?
Thank you, Your Worship. I think training and reviewing the recording systems would help.
Thank you. Councillor McGrath, you had a question?
And I think it's been answered. Thank you.
And Councillor Tapney?
He's going to have to put his mic down.
Sorry, just got to flick buttons. Thank you, through your worship. Actually, my question has mostly been addressed by the Chief Executive statements around the potential changes to the system and recognising where it's not fulfilling our needs. My question was around, I recall us instigating a new system only a few years ago to help address some of these issues. So I'd be particularly interested in the Chief Executive's report on changes in how the system we bought in order to improve our customer service frontline engagement around complaints and comments, how we were not aware of these particular constraints then, and why we're still having difficulties going forward. So I'll wait on the Chief Executive's report and recommendations from their assessment, but it surprises me that the new system isn't delivering what we thought it would be.
So we'll note that as an action to have an update from the Chief Executive on that. Any further questions from councillors? That being the case, I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation from the chair that we adopt our annual report. There is another of other components to this. I won't read it all out. Could I ask for a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Brosnan, thank you. I think it would be fair to say that together over the past year, we've been through a lot. We've been through lockdowns and level changes that have affected our well-being, our families and our economy. We've experienced significant weather events and the effects of climate change, and we've been affected by a growing population, a lack of overseas visitors, pressures on our housing market, impacts on our businesses and their flow-on effects. Throughout, we've had to adapt and change the way we do things. At Council, we have asked a lot of our community over this year as well, and we've had active participation in a number of consultations and requests for feedback on plans, projects and policies, which has been vital to ensuring we make the right decisions for the communities we represent. Our long-term plan was adopted, which sets our direction for the next 10 years, and the community were instrumental in identifying priorities and letting us know where you think our focus should be. So we've talked to the community about everything from rates calculations to regional parks, from community safety to water reform. It really has been an incredibly busy year. The challenges posed by the first lockdown and alert level changes made us think about what we could do to help in an immediate, practical and hands-on way. So we set up 2 funds, the Recovery Projects and Te Pū Waitanga Green Communities Together, and distributed close to $700,000 to our community, funding a wide range of projects. When tough times hit, we worked together to get our city and its people back on their feet. The Mayoral Fund, set up to help residents after the November floods, was boosted by central government and Hawke's Bay Regional Council, who each contributed $100,000. And we also offered a rates rebate to those affected by the event. Getting through tough times takes a team approach, and each of us is doing what we can to help each other. People helping people, building those strong connections that create the glue to get through, supporting our local businesses to help get the economy back on its feet, changing the way we do things to respond to changes in our community and our climate, reacting, respecting and honouring our differences while celebrating together when and how we can. And these are the things that help make our community stronger and more resilient. And we're proud of the part we play in making that happen. So I would like to say a huge thank you to our community for everything that you have participated and contributed to over the year that we're about to sign off on, and also to our staff. It's been an incredibly busy time for them, and to the councillors who are sitting around this table. I think we are all pleased to see both the 2021 financial year being formally signed off on, but also the 2021 calendar year drawing to an end. And as I said earlier, I hope everybody has a lovely festive season and takes the opportunity or has the opportunity to spend time with friends and whānau and recharge our batteries before we reconvene in 2022. So thank you. Deputy Mayor Brosnan. Nothing further. Did any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? Okay, so I will put that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karen, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Worship. Thank you, everyone, for the cooperation and assistance we've received throughout the year. It has really been excellent engagement with council, challenging times. So thank you again, and best wishes. A lovely Christmas New Year, and look forward to seeing you in 2022.
We'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
That brings us to the conclusion of our meeting. If we could all stand for our closing karakia. Ki tau ki a rangamare, ki runga i ngā iwi katoa o Ahiriri, ki a piki te ora, te kaha me te māramatanga, i ngā wā katoa, ti hei mauri ora. Thank you, everyone.